about Sierra, what you can tell me about your relationship on Disney Channel series. How was that for you? How was that moment for you? What you can tell me about?
I think a lot of that is owed to the fact that Jake and I, one, get along swimmingly in real life. We're good friends. And two, I think a lot of that's owed to Andrew and fostering like an environment where we really felt like we could be free to collaborate and be creative. And he had us do extensive rehearsals before we ever set foot in front of a camera. So I think a lot of that
Yes.
rapport between Everett and Faye was really built in rehearsal and getting to know Jake and getting to know Andrew, and that whole period was just this wonderful time where we sort of
Yes.
got all the lines on their feet, got a lot of blocking on its feet, and like I said, really developed that relationship between Everett and Faye. So I think a lot of that is just owed to rehearsal and the fact that, Jake's a fun guy.
Yeah, you know what? It's amazing your work on Disney Channel. That is amazing. So,
Character of Faye is that she was so interested, in science and technology, and during the time period in which this takes place and the small town sort of aspect, that probably wasn't a super, people probably thought she was a little weird for that, or that she was a little like that was not a very typical sort of interest or pastime for women at the time. And so just the fact that she was so enthusiastic about it, despite the fact that it was probably weird or kind of made her an outsider, that she was still so unapologetic about her interest in science and her hope for the future and her excitement about the future and what technology, the future would bring. And I think the fact that, she was so like unapologetic about those interests and so, enthusiastic about them throughout the movie is part of what really drew me to the character. So,
yes, I know.
I really tried to make sure that that fascination and that excitement really came across on screen, especially when it came to all the technology that appears in the movie and all the technology that's talked about. I just wanted to make sure that it was really,